the first to admit it. I wanted to be the first person on YouTube to talk about 5.3 and get those clicks.
I need no other reason. Any and all who interfere with my hunt will not do so twice! We shall gorge upon their strength, and then, my friend, our contest shall begin anew.
Welcome to another tier list video. I know, some foundations may shake today, but sometimes you have to stir the heart of your people. Still, the following list and ranking is constructed from my subjectivity, as are all tier lists in Final Fantasy XIV, because you can and will clear each content with any job you like. Apart from that, we couldn't test anything in 5.3 yet and will have to wait for the advanced combat tracker to get updated before knowing about exact numbers and statistics, so take this one with even a bigger grain of salt than usual. And always remember, play the job you like and not the one that is told to be good. How do I measure the strength of jobs and what is different to the last tier list ranking? The recent 5.3 patch notes brings with significant changes, especially to Monk, Astrologian and Warrior, while people also have maxed out their rotations, gear and uptime strats, so I will also hop into recent Eden's vs Savage rankings. So without further ado, let's hop into the subject. Starting with the Warrior, let's say most of the changes take place in personal comfort and quality of life by adding multiple methods to increase the Storm's eye uptime. But a game changer for me is that Nascent Flash is now usable without having party members next to you, which may not be essential for endgame raiding, but definitely for all forms of solo content. Surely, those buffs and tweaks to hold up your damage buff with multiple tools and way more passively will also increase the overall damage output. Still, I don't think that this will get the Warrior to the Gunbreaker or Paladin's damage potential, or keep up with Dark Knight's The Blackest Night as mitigation, that can be used more efficiently for speed and hardcore content than self-healing potential. Please, my fellow Fel Cleavers, don't hate me, but I think a B ranking is well deserved, but it could also be A. Oh man, that shield value from The Blackest Night is insane, as this scales with the Dark Knight's HP, and as gear is progressing onwards, this will become stronger and stronger. Still, compared to the Gunbreaker and Paladin, especially as a team, the Dark Knight kinda falls behind a bit. But due to the insane magical mitigation or damage reduction against certain raid attacks or target support, the Dark Knight can perform a slight lead to our Fel Cleaver. And yes, all tanks are close to each other, but I would rank Dark Knight on a fairly higher position here. Gunbreaker gets some potency buffs on Brutal Shell and an increase to its duration, which definitely works good for it to bolster the defensive department a bit. But even without that defensive strength, the Gunbreaker takes the DPS lead, like it ever did since Shadowbringers launch, so you cannot grind down your speed kills or high personal tank DPS achievements without a Gunbreaker in your team, at least not when going for the top end. So Gunbreaker goes for S rank this time, because its DPS advantage won't seem to fall off this expansion. The Paladin brings with another topic, namely versatility. Even when Rin and Lynx told in their latest tank comparison video that they don't like to play Paladins by themselves, they said having one with them as partner is always nice and creates space for many possibilities. And personally, I'm having the most solid proc experiences with my Paladin over all other tanks, and when helping out for optimizing fights, it's always a blast to have these ranged magical opportunities or even invulnerability with hallowed ground. So this is a very personal S rank, but one that others cannot really put any lower, I guess. Okay, now to one of the beneficiaries of this patch, the Bard. While not being insanely bad in the last patch, he could easily be considered as one of the worst DPS jobs. And yes, bad means something completely different in Final Fantasy than in other MMOs. Every job is viable and won't hinder your progress. Nonetheless, Bard has seen some significant changes that at first glance are not big at all. But a 10 potency increase on both of their main attacks is not so bad, as Burst Shot and Refulgent Arrow make up nearly 50% of Bard's DPS. So we can expect a solid overall DPS boost, together with another buff to Sidewinder. That is kinda neglectable, but the whole package is easily capable of keeping up with the Machinist's position, that had a small lead in the last patch cycle. Still, I believe that both are falling behind Dancer due to its potential boosting superiority and being a solid part of many high-end raiding groups. That mentioned, the dancer has access to some nice peak parses at the top end of the Eden's chart, and that shows with a perfect party lineup it is able to push out the last quench of supporting value into a bursty summoner, black mage or samurai. By having the best possible support to a single ally, the dancer's buff can easily make up 2 to 3k DPS boost to its dance partner. So still for the top end raiders, the dancer's value is above the one of Bard and Machinist, and even will be in this patch, and as long as they don't stop here with boosting ranged physical DPS jobs, we could possibly face the perfect balancing in upcoming patch cycles. Still, for now, the dancer remains the strongest of the three. Okay, the Machinist may perform worse than most other DPS on this chart, and when talking about the difference to a top-notch black mage or summoner, unfortunately the Machinist falls behind. And the same comparison can be applied to all melee jobs, so a B spot together with Bard is the only possible rank here. But apart from that, the combat feels flexible, rewarding, and optimization is way easier than working off the black mage in Eden's Verse movement Urfor. So even without supporting abilities, the Machinist feels quite well on your personal damage output. And who cares about our DPS, right? On the healing department there are no changes to the white mage, but it still performs with rock solid facts, DPS and burst healing potential like no one else. So if there wouldn't be the insane variety and toolkit of the Astrologian, the white mage would easily step up to S. But since the last patch tier revealed an insane amount of card optimization possibilities for the Est, the white mage kinda got dethroned. Yet, still a fantastic job to enjoy and use against all dangerous situations to keep your party in game. And yeah, like I said, the Astrologian may face the most significant changes in this patch, and I'm really excited about the changes to sleeve draw and reducing nearly all MP cards on its bright toolkit. Being able to directly access one of the required seals of divination will ease up the whole hassle with preparing cards and fine-tuning them to the last bit of this system, so that there may be a decrease of the top end potential. But for what the Astrologian should take care of, this reduces the stress level and decision making with good changes. Like it already was in the last patch, the insane amount of damaging support and the OGCD flexibility of the Astrologian seeks for competition and cannot be described like anything else than breathtaking. Just due to the fact that both Astrologian and White Mage are still ultimately strong and the Astrologian seems to do everything better than the Scholar, I'm sorry, but I have to place it on B still. Surely, some speed kill raiding groups will make use of its passive aggressive playstyle, which is really versatile, but that comes only from the fact that the second healer will help the Scholar with a raw healing power advantage, that the Scholar's kit is still missing somehow. I'm looking for some changes in the future and that it can make it to the top healing DPS spot again, to compensate for its lack of healing potential. For now, support those pure ranged physicals on the B spot. On our melee department we can still see the ninja carving its way to the top, and it seems that the main reason for this is his alignment with Dancer, that can easily rocket jump the ninja's burst heavy opener beyond that 30k DPS mark easily. And like it is for all jobs, those openers create a large portion of the job's overall DPS. And with item level 500 and a Dancer boost, or even without it, the ninja can at least shake off its lance wielding floor tank mate. And for the Samurai, yes, it is still the king of personal DPS, and there are top end raiders with close to 26,000 DPS in Ramu Savage. Can you guys imagine to push out these numbers with any other job? Not really, only the blackest of black mages maybe. And that even leaves behind the Summoner, which I would still consider the most versatile and overall strongest among them all, so Samurai cannot land anywhere else than on the S spot. Even without any changes, Dragoon remains a solid buff heavy job with a progressive boost potential due to its battle litany. And as soon as gear progression rises towards critical hit more and more, the Dragoon's potential rises with it. Only due to the fact that other melee jobs are performing on par with it or even stronger like the Samurai does, floor tanking may remain at the A spot simply for the fact that the Samurai is the stronger melee choice. But for all two melee team compositions, you can choose all other melees as well. But what about Monk? What does this perfect balance cooldown reduction mean to possible DPS increases? It could really make a difference. Having a more frequent access to that cooldown will get you more often into that lead and boot shine variation, which pushes out tons of DPS. Together with the greased lightning buff and possible changes in 5.4, the Monk could climb up to that ladder and overtake Dragoon and Ninja, but for now, until we have certain numbers when ACT is updated. But yet, the Samurai is just a stronger choice here, and the same we said for the other two applies to the Monk as well. Finally, let us come to the last DPS role, Casters. Starting with the Red Mage that hasn't faced any changes with recent patch notes, but I would say, according to the Eden's Verse chart, it is still top notch, and only due to the fact that Summoner is performing better and Black Mage has a high end scoring potential, we cannot grant it access to it as rank spot. Still, many progress raiders do like its effectiveness in keeping your group in game while still providing solid numbers. And guys, don't let yourself be fooled. Those numbers are easily reached and much easier than with a Black Mage, so Red Mage will always be my choice in beginner friendliness and reaching a solid A position made by its competition. That being said, I listened to your feedback on the last tier list and you're right. The potential is there and Black Mages are easily on par with Summoners and Samurais if you can play out their potential perfectly. While this may require some time and practice, it is still possible, and that means for identifying all jobs' true power in comparison, we cannot deny the S position to the Lord of Explosions. And guys, believe it or not, I would love to be released of the spoiled child status as Summoner, but look at those changes. That barely makes a difference. Even when talking about a decrease of 4 to 500 DPS, Tri-Disaster doesn't come at the top priority of damage in our kit. So yes, it is a significant nerf, but nothing that is capable of dethroning the Summoner from the throne of versatile DPS relation. Top players can still push it to the limit and will still come close to the best Samurais and Black Mages, even after the nerf to Tri-Disaster. And that's it guys. I hope you're not completely disappointed, and please remember, this is only my perspective on these jobs. If you want to see another perspective of another content creator that has a much more in-depth experience and expertise, check out Hi I'm Fox's tier list, linked in the description. And most importantly, make up the decision according to your own desire and which of these jobs appeal the most to you. Final Fantasy XIV's balancing is still way ahead of other games, and you can and will clear all sorts of content with any job, except Blue Mage. So thank you for watching, make up your mind and return to my channel to learn about your chosen job by watching any of my job guides. See you guys around on Twitch or YouTube, and until next time, stay safe, stay healthy and keep loving Final Fantasy.